Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
For this is what the Sovereign Lord says.
Why do you need prophets to tell people who you are and what you want?
If you can justify everything that the God of the Bible has done, then you can justify any of your behavior.
A lot of this mentality is trickling into what is now mainstream right-wing Christianity.
I am capable of empathy greater than this God of the Bible.
This is a Bible that they tell kids. This is the good Lord. This is the good book. He is fantasizing about murder, mass murder.
Head over to sacrilegiousdiscourse.com right now to find out how to leave us a review or support us on Patreon.
Hey there, sinners and saints. It's your favorite Bible-bashing duo from Sacrilegious Discourse, and we need your help.
That's right, folks. We're raising funds for some heavenly equipment and a studio that doesn't sound like it's in the depths of hell.
Our current setup, let's just say it's more apocalypse than audiophile.
So if you want to hear us dissect the Bible without the background noise of demonic squirrels, chip in a few bucks.
We're aiming for $5,000 to upgrade our audio and build a studio worthy of blasphemous banter.
Donate today and help us spread the good word of atheism.
You can find a link right on our homepage, sacrilegiousdiscourse.com. Every dollar counts.
Even if it's from your collection plate. Husband!
Wife!
Do you know what we're doing today?
You just told me we're timelining shit.
We're timelining. Yeah.
We're following up on the series where we're trying to put everything from the Old Testament in kind of a linear timeline order,
like chronologically,
just to make us feel better about it. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Today we are kind of comparing the Chronicles, First and Second Chronicles, to the last parts of the Deuteronomistic history, which is Samuel and First and Second Kings.
Okay, all right. Yeah, there was a lot of overlap because there was a lot of covering between the one kingdom versus the other kingdom. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well,
so I thought we would kind of finish off by comparing them.
Sure. Sounds good. Are you ready to do this? Sure
as fuck am.
All right. Let's do it.
Okie dokie. All right, let us do some comparing of the...
And contrasting. Okay, all right.
Do you know, I can specifically remember when I was in, I think it was like 8th grade, I had a teacher that wanted us to compare and contrast something, and the whole class was like, isn't that the same thing? And she literally told us the difference between compare and contrast.
Yeah.
You know, comparing is when you're saying what's the same about something, and contrasting is when you're telling the differences. And the light bulb that went off over the entire class's head, like, I felt happy that I wasn't the only one.
Right.
And it was kind of an amazing moment. God bless Miss Pat. She had so much patience for us. All right. So, yeah, we're going to talk about the Chronicles, the First and Second Chronicles, and how they are so different and kind of the same. Like, they tell the same story, but from an entirely different perspective of Samuel and First and Second Kings. There's reasons for why they are telling the same story, but from a different perspective.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's kind of interesting.
Sure.
So let's compare them. First of all, their purpose, the historical moment, the theology of cause and effect, all of that.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So Samuel and Kings were written pre-exilic through exilic. Okay. So before and during the Babylonian exile. Whereas Chronicles was written post-exile.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that right there tells you the time period during which they were written was different. Therefore, the aim was different. The goal was different.
Yeah, definitely.
The primary question for Samuel and Kings was, why did we lose our land? What happened? Why why is this happening to us?
Right.
Whereas in Chronicles, the primary question is, now that this has happened to us, who are we now and how do we rebuild?
Sure.
Like,
Sure.
where do we go from here as a people?
So
are we a people?
They essentially cover a lot of the same time frames, right? Like as far as what they're writing about.
Yes.
But from two different, completely different perspectives, though. Okay. All right.
And again, it's not just different perspectives, it's different intentions.
Sure.
Because of that, the genealogies in Samuel and Kings, very minimal. We don't get a lot of begats or who's related to whom and all of that. We talk a lot about the kings, but not like who gave birth to whom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas in Chronicles, it's extensive because we are trying to rebond the people. We are trying to show how we're still one, even though...
It's like ancientgenealogy.com or whatever, whatever those places are called. It's your genealogy. They're doing genealogy.
Yes.
To like prove,
yes,
why someone's king and that they're still related and they still mean something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. That was supposed to be funny, but it wasn't. And so that's why I'm looking at you like, what are you doing? What are you talking about?
Oh, what I said wasn't funny?
Yeah.
I didn't.
When you said genealogy.com, it's like genealogy. And I'm like, I literally said genealogy. So yes, it is like.
Yeah, but I was comparing it to the online things that we have now.
Ancestry.com.
Yeah, that's the one. That's
the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't think of the name. Like, besides, they're not sponsoring us. So,
God. Yeah. Anyway, before they were exiled, it was important, but it was more important after they were exiled to show how they were still a people.
Right.
And in order to show that they are a people, they had to really stress that genealogy, that ancestry.com.
Yeah.
So that's another difference and reason, therefore.
Okay.
The tone of the Samuel and the Kings storyline is tragic, realist, sometimes brutal. The narrative style it's story driven, it's dramatic.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas in Chronicles, the tone is more hopeful. It's very idealized, almost romantic. It's restorative. The narrative style is almost like a sermon. It's very structured.
Sure.
So you've got these two differences. One is like gritty, and the other one is like, we can do this. We can put it back together again.
Right. Well, one was in the midst of falling down,
apart.
And
yeah.
The other is on the other side of having fallen apart.
Trying to rebuild.
So, that makes complete sense. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The ending in Samuel and Kings is exiled with maybe a faint flicker of hope.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're just like laying there dumbfounded, like,
what even do we do?
Yeah.
Right.
Who are we? Are we a people? What is happening? Why did this happen?
Sure.
Like distraught, everything.
Yeah.
Whereas the ending in Chronicles is there's the return and they're rebuilding and they're joyous and they're very much trying to prove to themselves, to each other, to other nations, we are one people. We are a nation. We do deserve to be here and to be recognized as the people that we are.
Sure. Yeah.
So I just found that like really interesting because I didn't quite pick that up, that the difference in time period really impacted why they were the same story, but so different.
Yeah.
And so this kind of helps me put it better into place.
And the why. And the why. Why do we have essentially the same story twice?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Samuel through Kings is like an autopsy, whereas Chronicles is like a rehab plan. So, like, Samuel through Kings is like telling this is how we fell down, and Chronicles is like, and this is where we go from here.
Got it.
Samuel through Kings is about generational sin with long-term consequences.
Yeah, even 10 generations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Their main message, the main message in those storylines was exile was always inevitable. You're always going to be punished. Every time you do something bad, there will be consequences.
Yeah.
Whereas in Chronicles, it was, but repentance can reverse judgment. There's always hope. You can always bounce back from this.
Yeah. Yeah.
The best example of this outlook is in Samuel and Kings. Manasseh is listed as the worst king ever. No redemption. He's just awful. He was evil, bad, wrong, and done.
Sure.
But in Chronicles, he repents and is forgiven, and he's restored.
Oh, okay.
And so that's like the perfect example of the difference between these two, telling the same story, but from such a different perspective.
Yeah.
And a different goal, a different audience.
Yeah.
Right? Like I was studying all this and I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense.
Right.
Like when you're putting these two next to each other, you can't.
Well, as you're reading through, I was going to say, as you're reading through the Bible like we did, there's no way to pull out every little comparison between those two because it's just too much, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So, I would never have gotten that from it.
Right.
And so to study it from this perspective really put it into a better timeline for me and also made the most boring parts a little bit more accessible.
Yeah.
Now let's talk a little bit about the scope of history, the role of the temple and the priests and the authoritative figures, the differences between Samuel and Kings versus Chronicles. Okay.
Yeah.
In Samuel and 1st and 2nd Kings, they are talking about the north, which is Israel, extensively.
Sure.
And they do talk about Judah some, the south.
Yeah.
Okay. Now in Chronicles, they talk about Israel, the north, hardly at all. It's almost entirely ignored. Chronicles is not forgetful of Israel. It is intentionally narrowing the lens to the community that still exists after exile.
Got it.
Which I was like, this doesn't make any sense to me. Why are we not?
They're justifying why the others got destroyed.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're not I'm sure they had problems before, but like they have to justify why this group is the ones that made it through. Probably.
Well, it's not just that they justified this is why this made it through. By ignoring the other almost completely, they're saying consequences.
Yeah.
For actions.
But that's what I'm saying. Like they are they're justifying that these people were the righteous ones, that they were the good ones, that they were the godly because they survived, and this is the remnant, right? This is what's left.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Another thing is that Judah is the exclusive focus in Chronicles.
Sure.
So, I mean, that goes without saying almost. If they aren't talking about Israel, then they are talking about Judah.
Right, right.
So, and then going back to Samuel and Kings, the temple is very important. The priests and the Levites are in the background.
Okay.
We hardly see them at all.
Yeah.
The worship is secondary to the kingship. And I just was like, whoa, that's true. Like, I didn't notice it at the time, but looking back, that is true.
Yeah.
Whereas in Chronicles, the temple is central and the priests and the Levites are front and center. And the worship is core identity. It's their core identity. So you've just got this difference between the leadership and the worship and how they operate.
Right.
You know, how they live is completely different in these two books.
Well, yeah, you're talking about hundreds of years difference between when they were written. So
I know.
And it's going to be a huge difference, you know?
It's just that, we're talking about the same time period.
We're talking about the same time period, but we're talking about it from two different timeline lenses. Right. You know?
Right.
So they're projecting their own timeline into that historical reference. The things that they're referencing from history.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Another difference is that in Samuel and Kings, the musicians and gatekeepers are rarely mentioned at all, whereas in Chronicles, they are carefully cataloged.
huh. I could kind of remember that.
Yeah.
And was that where we started seeing this Salah or whatever and stuff like that? Is that,
I honestly don't remember, but I wouldn't be surprised.
But I do remember that they mentioned a lot of singers in one point, so.
Yeah, and that was in Chronicles, though.
Yeah.
And that just goes to because the church life was more important in the rebuilding.
Sure.
And so the worship would have been more central to what they were putting together in Chronicles.
Sure.
Another difference in Samuel and Kings, the prophets were independent and they were confrontational. The kings were politically dominant, and the authority was very split between kings versus prophets.
Okay.
Okay. So that was in Samuel and Kings. Then in Chronicles, we've got the prophets often aligned with temple reforms. The kings were spiritually evaluated, and the authority was re-centralized around Yahweh and worship.
Okay. All right.
So,
yeah.
Again, I just thought that was so fascinating.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
To have read through, again, I would not have picked that out. I knew they were different. I didn't understand why.
Sure. And again, it was really hard to do that because they were two completely different sections that didn't really, they're not easy to compare side by side.
Yeah.
We wanted to. I think when we were reading through
Yeah.
it, we were like, man, it would be really cool to like side by side these, which I'd still like to do at some point,
Sure.
you know, and break it down.
This is just like a mini scope of that.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Sure.
Not an in-depth deep dive or
right,
anything,
but it would be
just
fun to like literally point out the differences from one versus the other, right?
Sure.
Like and
the events and the historical
the
timelines.
inconsistencies and find where that happened and maybe discuss why and things like that.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun.
One of those would be in the way Saul is addressed. In Samuel and Kings, Saul is a fully developed character that we learn all about, whereas in Chronicles, he's barely mentioned.
Okay. Became much less important, apparently, to the future version of...
I have to think, based on what else I'm going to be reading here, I have to think that it's because he was not as spiritual or heavenly, goodly
Got it.
as they would have wanted.
Sure.
And so they didn't concentrate on him in Chronicles.
Right, and they're trying to pick out the positive with regard to worship and things like that.
Yeah,
so.
and I'm going to get into that in a minute because we have some more examples of that.
Okay.
Chronicles is written for a community where the kings are gone, but worship remains.
Got it.
So that's another reason.
Yeah.
One of the differences, too, is with regard to what I was just saying is David and Solomon. We see huge differences in how they are presented. In Samuel and Kings, David is anointed, but he's deeply flawed. He's complex. We get the adultery with Bathsheba.
Yeah.
We get the murder of Uriah. We've got family disasters with Amnon, Tamar, and Absalom.
I think we did comment on this at the time, actually, because it was a very PC version in Chronicles versus what was covered the last time. So.
And we've got civil war.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, David is like not presented in the best light in Samuel and Kings.
Right.
But in Chronicles, he's so idealized. He's an organizer. He's the worship leader. He's the temple planner. He's the ideal king.
Yeah.
He's the post-exilic that Judah needs a symbolic ancestor.
Sure.
Like, after they've come out of exile, they need to know.
They're like,
who
this guy. This is the guy.
The one. So with regard to David, Chronicles is missing the sexual scandal, the abuse of power, and the dynastic chaos.
Okay.
So that's one difference there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now with Solomon, we've got the opposite, flip-flop.
Sure.
Whereas Samuel and Kings was like, David wasn't all that great.
Yeah.
Solomon was near perfect.
Sure.
He had wisdom. He had the wealth. He had the foreign wives. Yes, and that was a huge problem. He had idolatry, which was central to his downfall. And the cause of the kingdom split was Solomon's sin.
Sure.
Okay. But then in Chronicles, Solomon has a very mixed legacy. We still hear about his wisdom and his wealth, but his foreign wives are omitted.
Yeah.
And his idolatry is completely absent.
Right.
And the cause of the kingdom split shifted to Rehoboam. And Chronicles disconnects Solomon from blame, preserving him as the temple king.
Right.
Which I was just like blown away at this comparison.
Yeah, they rewrote history basically.
They did.
Or tried to, essentially.
And that kind of goes with what's happening right now with the rewriting of history.
Sure.
But in a not good way.
Right.
Like what's happening right now in the US is we've got white nationalists that are rewriting historical texts and interpretations of the Constitution and laws locally, like state laws.
Which is all the more reason for us to stand up and fight so that, you know, by fight, I mean protest and do the things. But it's the people that get to write and keep the history are the people that win. So we can't let them win.
No, because then we'll get a Chronicles instead of a Samuel and First and Second Kings.
Right, yeah.
And
so
that's
register to vote.
Yeah.
And do the voting.
Do the voting,
do the things.
Go to the protests, make the phone calls. Yeah. That's really all I had today. I know it's kind of short, but I just wanted to compare the two and explain a little bit why they're the same but different.
And I think you said that you're kind of wrapping up this series of the timelining. So
because that was the end of the timeline, like then we go from there into the prophets, and we've already placed them into context.
Sure. So that pretty much is the quick synopsis over 6 or 7 episodes, however many we did.
That's the OT, baby.
Of the Old Testament.
Yeah.
And
we're out.
We're done. I mean, I guess we're never gonna be done with the Old Testament because it's such a large part of the Bible in general, and we run an atheist podcast that reads the Bible. But we're about as done with the Old Testament at this point, other than we're still I guess Maccabees is still considered the Old Testament. I'm not really sure.
It is.
Yeah.
In whatever Bibles it's included in, it is certainly not New Testament.
We're sort of mostly done with the Old Testament.
We're done with Old Testament Prime, I guess.
There you go.
And now we're doing Old Testament adjacent.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Well, that was our episode today for Timeline Shit. And we did this. This was live on Discord, and honestly, it was probably because of the holidays. We had a light crowd tonight, so we need more people. We need you to show up. We need you to come do the thing.
I mean, okay, hold on. I am going to say, like, I understand why you might choose to celebrate your holiday with your family rather than come hang out with us.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to say don't do that.
No, absolutely.
But if there's not a holiday and you're not celebrating with family, you have no other reason not to be here.
I'm just, any reason to get more people into our Discord live is a good reason. And this is as good of a reason as any.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And we have fun. So you should come over and join us.
We do.
All right. I think that's all we have for tonight. So thank you. And we will see you next time.
We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.